Hi guys, I'm Rohan,
I'm Eric.
and today we're going to be talking about Gang Leader for a Day that we read the first four chapters of. The first thing we kind of wanted to discuss was how they talk about surveys and how surveys don't really often the answers are very concrete, like yes or no, or like they don't really offer a lot of like options. And when like the student here was going to the community and he came with a survey, they all just like laughed at him, and they were saying like the real way to like understand a community is to kind of experience it and like really be active in it.
Right.
So I just want to ask you guys what you think your opinion of surveys are, and if you do agree that surveys aren't the best way to kind of like test people, like what ways would you think to find information about certain communities?
Yeah, I think that I would agree they're a little bit more close-ended, and if you ask some open-ended questions, you could probably learn more from that. And then kind of moving on, we wanted to talk a little bit about changing the educational gap. Um, and I think something key to note here is the earlier you get involved in the process, the more effective it would probably be because by the time students are already in middle school or even high school, it's going to be much harder to change their mentality and the way things have been going. So kind of elementary school or as
Right.
early as you can.
Yeah, I mean, I remember one of the groups asked like, how would you go about changing the educational gap last week, and as part of my response, I was kind of saying that it's really important that you don't just like put money into education, because I don't think putting a ton of money into education of low income families is directly going to help them, but more so you need to change kind of like more of like like cultural or societal type change where like their upbringing is different, because like if someone is growing up in a community where their parents are like selling coke, or um, they're not able to, they're not gonna like care about their education, or they're not gonna, no matter what, like no matter how much money is kind of given to education. So it's kind of like both. Like you do need to put money into education, but I also think uh,
There's definitely other factors
there's other
that
factors
contribute as
that
well,
kind of would be
just in
important.
upbringing in general. Yeah,
Right.
definitely.
Um, and then another point that I thought was interesting in the book was on page, I forgot what page, but they kind of say like, they ask him like, why don't you study your own people, and like they talk about how like they're living in a city within a city, and I thought that was like kind of powerful when I was reading it, because oftentimes like it's like really hard to understand someone else's perspective if you haven't gone through these experiences yourself.
Definitely, and I think that kind of goes back to just stereotyping in general. And I think that kind of in the book, just in general, just stereotyping can kind of be avoided in those kind of situations. So I wanted to ask you guys, kind of, how would you go about preventing your students if you were in a classroom stereotyping other different groups? So
Yeah. Um,
I think that's kind of most of the stuff we wanted to ask you guys. So if you could just kind of comment on the video with some answers to our questions and any other comments you had,
mhm.
that'd be great.
Cool.
All right, thanks a lot, guys.
Thanks.